Yep.
Can you see yourself?
Nope. Curse beer. Oh yeah. Your favorite operas whistled by Jim Neighbors. Jim Neighbors presents Eva Longoria in opera. The Oprah Story. Television maven Eva Longoria stars opposite Jim Neighbors in... Oh, hey, what? Hey, look. I think way over there I can see my laptop. Well, let's just... There we go. Coors beer, that's right. Let me zoom in a click here. There we go. A gentleman of my age needs large fonts to function. I'm not sure it's 8 o'clock yet. Oh no, heck, we're early. We're on military time over here. Got old man disease where you can't help but wake up early. I hate that. All right, there we go. Okay. Well, what am I looking at here? There's some people. Now, normally I see a thing that counts people, but I don't see that thing right now. So greetings, everybody, programs and otherwise. Welcome to our, what is this, our fourth, is it the fourth live show? That's not so much a show as just some dude sitting in a room by himself, drinking beer, talking about a bunch of crazy stuff. Who do we got here? We got Nom Nom, we got Sam Zatorsky. We got some hard soft guy. What is that? Mark Bredenball. What up, dude? We got old Sam has just got the all caps thing going here. 11 on the East Coast. Nice. Perfect time to settle in with your laptop. You get your Jim Neighbors videos on the left pane, and you got Hankering Fernail on the right pane. You can start drawing parallels. It's like watching Wizard of Oz while you listen to Dark Side of the Moon. You could watch, like, what's that Ernest Christmas movie? Ernest Goes to Christmas? That can't be the title, but that would be a great title.
Does.
Ernest Does Christmas. So you can watch that in one pane, one window, tab area, and then you got me in the other one, and you'll see there's like these weird synchronicities. It's 8 p.m. somewhere. It's 8 p.m. here, damn it. Yee-hoo! Well, actually, it isn't. We're 5 minutes ahead of schedule. There are already like 340 people watching the stream. I've never been good at math. And that is a great segue into the topic for today. So let's just make sure that this first beer is properly. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, we got 4 more of those. Now, Pink from Cult Mood could probably put those 4 down in the next 10 minutes, but I'm not quite that crazy. Nice to have you guys. Thanks for spending your Friday night with old Hankering here. It's good to have you. Lord knows, my group had to postpone last week. There we go. My group had to postpone because a new Viking entered the world. So welcome to the world, Rowan. She is going to be a warrior and shield maiden to join our ranks. So whenever there is a childbirth, we do have to postpone D&D. It's a bit of a pact that we share. 10 p.m. in Missouri. Well, hey, man, Missouri is where my family's from. So what? Down by the big muddy, you know what I mean? Paul F., welcome. Hey everybody, it's just about 8 o'clock. I don't care if it's actually 8 o'clock or if it's 7:55 because when you're rounding numbers, they all get round. Oh boy, it's gonna be a good one. So on the topic of not being good at math and being a general dullard and knucklehead, there is no better RPG for dullards and knuckleheads than your favorite right here, Dungeon World. Now, I know that Drunkards and Dragons, especially because of the trollery in the title, is generally a D&D channel, mostly about 5th edition and old school. You know, a lot of 2nd edition people still out there living large. Mad people still playing 3.5 because, let's all face it, we all love 3.5 and the books are dope. But you got to go way back if you want to play Dark Sun by the rules, you know what I mean? Oh, I know, you guys got to be sick of me mentioning stupid Dark Sun. But anyway, normally I stick to the D&D center line, but as you guys probably know if you've been hanging out on the channel, Dungeon World has been creeping into the consciousness here. So as a quick primer on that topic, why, Hankrin? Good grief, man. You spent 30 years playing D&D. You left GURPS behind decades ago so that you could go deep on this stuff. And now, what, you get in your 40s and then it's just sellout. What, it's like the Metallica of RPGs. No, this isn't a sellout. This is evolution, baby. Now, most of the times, I wouldn't put much stake in a book that frankly tries to do in one digest-sized book what has been accomplished in loads of gigantic, full-color, super high-budget books. It'd be kind of like, okay, garage operation. I'm going to have to say this is actually the new wave. This is the way to do stuff. Dungeon World is still pretty small audience-wide when you compare it to something like Dungeons and Dragons. But its online community and content creator community is so dope. You guys should check this stuff out. Like the Wine Dark Sea stuff is really cool. Go look that up. All the stuff on Drive-By RPG, like the Playbooks of the Dead, those little bundles that give you new classes for Dungeon World are super cool, super creative. There's people writing awesome treasure items for Dungeon World. They're super simple. So does Dungeon World rely more on GM imagination? Hell yes, it does. So if you have a crappy imagination, you probably don't want to be playing Dungeon World. So that's going to be a moment of deep self-introspection for you, which is redundant. All introspection is self-introspection. But that's going to be a deep moment. If you're kind of like, you know, I need more specificity than what these rules are giving me to pull off a smooth session, you probably want to chill. Because if you just took Dungeon World at face value, it's probably a little thin. Oh, hey, there's some new people hanging out. Hey, everybody, what's up? Nice to have you. Howdy, howdy. Cameron, John. Hey, folks. More Missouri folks. That's great. Well, hey, getting ready to run Dark Sun on Wednesday. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. Okay. I'm getting in the weeds again. You know how I get all excited sometimes. So if you guys look on the Facebook page, just before I set up this ridiculous contraption with this camera and everything, I posted this finely crafted cheat sheet. So I made a Dungeon World cheat sheet. And the theme of the hanging out tonight, number 1, drink beer. Number 2, the mods that I made in the cheat sheet. I mean, shit, I rolled up on this game only like, what, 3-4 months ago? I'm already modding the core rules and stuff. Like, what a troll. So go over the mods that I already did and why I did them and why you should do them. Because you know me, I'm always right. And then also just get into running some dry play. So dry play is like dry fire with a gun, right? You know, you want to get to know your tools before you're like, you know, running and sliding on a rain wet alley in Chinatown, like going all hard boiled and shit. Before you get all into that, you need to just know your tools and do it in a controlled environment. Now, I make fun of myself all the time for playing one-person D&D, but I'll tell you, this is the way to make sure that when your players roll up and you want to tell a story, not just barely get away with managing mechanics, that you got what it takes, baby. So Second edition is amazing. Still the most balanced system. Man, I could not agree more. Brendan Bretecker. Second edition was awesome. What is this? Come on. This book, I think this is second edition, but I love this book. Is this second edition? I don't even know. This is like beginner edition, which is always the best things they do, because no matter how long you've been playing, you're always a beginner. And that is a perfect segue into how we're going to do Dungeon World. So if you're looking at the cheat sheet from Facebook, you will notice I don't have my cool creative like classes. I don't have any flavor stuff for the world I'm going to work on and the campaign I'm going to run. I don't have anything about even the basic classes that come in the book or monsters, anything. All I got is basic moves. Remedial math, kids. We're in first grade reading right now. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not a smart person and I don't have good ideas, but there's something I am good at, and it is simplifying so that I can learn. So that is what I have attempted to do with Dungeon World, and that's what we're going to do together. But first I got to drink some beer. It is. Is this the one that just got a reprint? Oh my God, it did? That's cool. Anything 30, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, Naruto completely took over D&D. I'd have to say, 5th edition, better on the Naruto front than 4th. 4th was just pure Naruto. But I'm sure a lot of you guys are there with 5th edition, like if you're playing Out of the Abyss or you just finished Phandelver or anything. It's pretty Naruto, you know? I think modern players in the WotC fan base are looking for big, crazy, awesome. And God bless them. Go get the big, crazy, awesome. Drop that crater bomb, you know, like the Neo Tokyo Akira bubble, you know, kind of shit. That's fun D&D. I think a lot of people, though, miss some of the grit that comes with low fantasy. It's also, it forces more tough choices when you can't just drop the Akira bubble. It's 4 a.m. in the UK, but you're still here, baby. Well, sip on that wine. I hope it's white, because red wine at 4 a.m. is just not good for the Constitution. You have a philosophy degree. Don't sell yourself short. Hey, man, all I did was show up to class, and they gave me the piece of paper. So, but I did the hard work. I got it done. I do know how to read pretty well, and I write down the things I read. Okay. Whew. Man, that was a huge digression. What the fuck are we even talking about at this point? All right. There's a burning question on people's minds, which is like, Dungeon World seems really cool. I read the book and I felt all cool, and then I went back and played with my D&D group, and I got a little better as a DM because I kind of had my mind expanded. But frankly, dude, how do you play the damn game? How do you play Dungeon World? Like, for real. Not telling me it's a more narrative game. And, you know, if you listen to a lot of the Dungeon World podcasts or watch the Twitch feeds or anything like that, they can be entertaining at moments. But generally, I think, and they allude to this in the book, a lot of people aren't really playing what the game is. They're basically just playing a super numerically simplified D&D experience. So what is the magic that really makes the core of Dungeon World shine and function so well and make it so easy to write cool, compelling content? And that is what I have tried to sum up right here. So we're just coming up a little bit after 8 o'clock. Naruto D&D. Everything is plus 25 on your rolls. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Now that's a great point. Bredeker. I bet it's Bredeker, isn't it? It's like, who is that guy? It's Bredeker. Anyway, I'm doing it again. When things are plus 10 and plus 25, it's redonk. You know, you ever get this poor player who's trying their best to do something cool, the turn order comes around to them, and they're like, I'm going to hit him with my mace of soul stealing. And then everybody's like, yeah, he's getting out the mace. And then they're like, okay, I got a proficiency. I'm a plus 7 there, and then I got a plus 5. Okay, that's a plus 14 on that roll. And like, your confidence is just through the floor, not to mention the energy at the table just drops. So one of the beautiful things in Dungeon World, and this is what I thought the real beauty was before I delved deeper into it, is that the pluses are so small. The numbers are also small. The hit points are small. Damage is usually 1 dice, almost always. Pluses are +1 or -2. Like, that's it. You got mobs of monsters. You roll them together with a plus for their quantity. Like, gah. Numbers stay down in the under 10 and teens area almost the entire game. That means a lot of cool things. 1, it's easier to do all the math. 2, it's easier to track everything on dice, like you guys know I do, right? So, you know, right now, I don't know if you can't see this level of detail, but I've got 24 hit points on my fighter here on Helm. And that's a ton of hit points in Dungeon World. But it would be really easy to track like 12 or 14 or whatever, instead of tracking 40 plus hit points. Which if you're 5th level, 6th level, 7th level in 5th edition, you're tracking 60 hit points and stuff. So anyway, woo, numerics are cool. But once again, getting in the weeds a little bit. That's an awesome name, Drunken Hobgoblin. Oh, that guy. Hey, there he is. Yeah, get your beer, Hobgoblin. Join the fun. Protector. Howdy, lot of snow. Okay, we got people rolling in. So if it seems like the intro is going on forever, that's just because I want everybody to get settled in. You know what I mean? Like, get those pajamas on, lean back. Looks like our colors are doing pretty good, but this lag is always just terrible. I don't know why. You know, free software, I expect more. A heroic quaff. The simple +1, -2 cleanliness of Dungeon World is not the key. Now, you can do a low fantasy 5th edition or D20 system in general, a hack, which would be keep everything low. So you could just half the move rates, you could half all the hit points, you could half all the proficiency bonuses, you could basically remove tons of other bonuses that come into play and replace them with a single roll and stuff like that. You could hack your way to a numerically simple D20 system, but that is not what's magic about Dungeon World. It's cool, but it's not the magic. The magic of Dungeon World, okay, here we go. This is it. The magic of Dungeon World, as we're emphasizing it tonight, is the A-B comparison of outcomes. So it can take so many forms that are non-numeric. D&D gets into a bit of a trap because the enemies are using the same rule system you are, as part of it, as well as they want to constantly scale everything numerically. And in needing to perform that mathematic scaling, they paint themselves into a bit of a corner, which is that it's hard to put a lot of flavor on math that's changing over time because success becomes a threshold, not a sort of a continuum, if that makes sense. So the beauty in Dungeon World is that you have a sort of an A-B outcome. Now, I'm not counting failure. Failure is not that interesting. Every game needs it if you want to randomize outcomes and so forth, want to reward skill and things like that. But the interesting A-B comparison is in levels of success. So I'm sure you guys all know the basics of Dungeon World already, which is 7 to 9 on your faithful 2d6, and you've got a success with consequences. 10 plus mod, you've got success, hell yeah, very little consequences. Doesn't sound that exciting, right? But when you look at the basic moves of the game, that is when it really starts dawning on you how nice and clean this really is. A great magic item that I just saw come up for Dungeon World was the ghost bag. So this was basically a bag of holding that someone had invented. So when you reach into this thing to grab your freaking wagon that you have stored in there and you try to pull it out, you roll your 2d6, right? So I just got an 8. So even though I pulled the wagon out, there's like 2 skeletons sitting on the wagon going like, "What? Put us back in there. What are you doing? Death to the fleshlings," right? Complete with voice acting. Now, if I reach into the bag, the ghost bag, and roll my mod 10 or above, I just pull out the wagon, flump, no problem. if I reach in and I roll 6 or below, I like dig around in there and I'm like, what is that? My hand has gotten kind of cold and something bites my finger and boom, 1d6 damage. Ha! I rolled a 1. So Helm is down to 23 hit points now. And I get no wagon. So that already is just, that is a fantastic magic item. Incredibly powerful storage item for like, you know, hoarders and weird rule hackers, but always with a chance that not only will it fail, but it can mess you up. Or that even succeeding can bring with it consequences you hadn't prepared for. So we got 30 people in the group right now. That is awesome. That's the biggest group we've had. So I'm DMing for all 30 of you tonight, guys. Let me just get my Coors done here. All right, my Coors. Your Coors burr. Okay, so let's get right into it. You know, get your 2d6 ready and get your rolling box out. I got my cleric rolling box right here. I got it set up Dungeon World style. A lot of you guys know that in Dungeon World, damage is class-based, not weapon-based. So everybody who plays tabletop games, who's cool, rolls damage and to hit rolls or success rolls at the same damn time. In Dungeon World, it's even simpler than in other games because your dice is class-based. So I got my 2d6 and my d8 right here. So anytime I'm hacking and slashing or firing a volley or even basically who knows what, picking up a flagpole, spinning it around, boom, impaling a toad, I can just roll all 3 of them together, right? Okay. So anyways, that's just a side note. Basic freaking moves. I hope there's not a test later. Oh, there's going to be a test. The test is you are going to play a night of Dungeon World with your homies, and let me know if it's fun. Let me know, am I crazy? Doesn't that take the fun out of weapons? Great question, dude. Dungeon World treats weapons more like a set of descriptive tags than it does a set of statistical variants. Now, if your group is weapon hoarders and weapon switchers and really like, you know, sort of hardware heads, I would strongly recommend abolishing a lot of the classes in Dungeon World and creating an open class game where people can find spells, they can find battle axes, they can find swords. And then what I would do is rather than putting a damage dice on a class, if that feels wrong to you, then put it on weapons and let anyone equip anything and so on and so forth. You see what I mean? Open up your game. Don't worry about the classes. The classes in Dungeon World are the old tropey fantasy classes, which is kind of cool, but my instinct right off the bat with Dungeon World is not even to do classes. It's to let people evolve their characters in what they want them to be. So if I've got somebody doing volley 3 or 4 times in a session, right away I'm going to award them one of the ranger moves, right? Or I'll invent a ranger move for them based on how they've been playing fire a volley. And that is a perfect segue into these basic moves. Man, I just keep beating around the bush on this shit. My nickname is Old Trophy. Well, I guess you win the trophy for, yeah, that's just bad. You're crazy regardless, but that is why I love your channel. Okay. Let's just go through them. Fuck it, right? It's 8:15. It's on. Hey, you didn't miss anything, Lofi. Welcome to the channel, buddy. We are talking about concrete tips to play Dungeon World. How are you going to learn how to play this game? It is very different from D&D, and if you just sit down with your buddies and think you're just going to play it out of the book, it's going to be boring and it's going to suck. So get on the Facebook page, get my cheat sheet. This is going to help you learn the core of the game, and you know how I am. Before you worry about any special moves, any magic, any crazy monster shit that bends the rules, you've got to learn the fundamentals. So the fundamentals in D&D are roll a d20, beat a target, do damage, right? Roll a d20, beat a target, get a result. In Dungeon World, it is a little different. The target you're trying to beat is always the same, no matter what you're doing. And that is important to get through your head. There is no armor class. There is no 2-hit number. Also, reciprocal damage is part of your roll. Now, whoa, don't say shit like reciprocal damage, dude. That's not cool. Okay, so that brings us to our first basic move. Get your 2d6 ready, kids. This is hacking and slashing. All right, this is one of the most classic things that you can do in a friggin' RPG. So I got my little world here, right? We got, you guys know these guys by now. We got Helm, the fighter. We got Stills, the goblin rogue, Zymer, the old sage, and Foxy the fox. This is the group that we've been playing on the channel for a while now. They're coming up a little wooden corridor here, creaking and moldering. There's a bit of slime on this stuff. And actually, as Helm steps forward, a gross, rabid rat scurries across the walkway, looks at him with this menacing look in his eye, and has this weird green shit dripping from its little rat teeth. He can't stand the sight of it. He can't resist it. He just pulls up the sword. He's just going to put the damn thing out of its misery. So he decides to just slash the thing into pieces. It's right by his foot. Twist the sword in the tiny little rat corpse. Me as the DM, I say, give me your hack and slash roll. Hell, everybody's +1 on their hack and slash. Everybody's going to have the same stats tonight. Let's do it. Oh, 6. So the intimidation of this rat looking at him like this, he actually looks away at the last second like he's killing a big spider or something, stabs the sword right next to the rat. It spooks the rat, and the rat does his damage to Helm. Now Helm is wearing armor, and in Dungeon World you subtract armor from damage, not use it as a 2-hit. So he takes 2 more damage as the rat bites his foot. Now let's replay that little moment over and over until we get all the results we want. So if you're rolling with me, we rewind in time. He lifts up the sword and he goes to stab the rat again. This time I got a 7. So I deal my damage and I absorb enemy damage. So the only difference is that this time I get to deal my damage, which is 5. She cuts the rat in half right as it sinks another bite into his other toe. His armor blocks that other bite. There you go. We just did 2 rounds of hacking and slashing. Hacking and slashing is pretty damn simple. Let's rewind in time again. He drives the sword down. Boom! Ooh, and perfect to make my point, I got a mod 10. By the way, if you guys don't know mod versus natural, if I say mod 10, that means my roll plus my bonus equals 10. If I say natural 10, that means I just rolled a damn 10. Oh, it's getting warm in here. I gotta get my humpback whale t-shirt out. Yeah. My humpback whale t-shirt enhances communication. I like it. Oh, we got a 9. 12. Okay, so Paul Byrne. This is a perfect time to use the mod natural tags when you announce your rolls. If you roll a mod 12, that means you rolled maybe something like an 11, added 1, and got a 12. But if you roll a nat 12, that means you rolled 2 6s. 2 6s is not specified in Dungeon World as a critical hit, but in my world, frick yeah, that's a critical hit, max damage. So I'm rolling a D8 for damage right now. So if I go, boom, oh my God, nat 12, DM says, what's your damage dice again? He says D8, 8 damage. So not only do you avoid the rat biting your boot, you drive the sword right through the thing and silently extract the sword, and the rat just mists into green goo. But you make no sound doing it because you're just that freaking good. So nice roll, dude. Well done. Now, this is just a freaking rat. But there you go. Hack and slash. Also, if you got a 10 or better mod, you can choose to either do even more damage or not take the rat bite. So everything's getting very specific here. So you can see how this system works. Lowest roll, I miss, I get bit. Medium roll, I stab the thing and he bites me on the toe. High roll, I stab the thing and I can either boost my damage or jump back and he doesn't bite my toe. Natural 12, I do max damage and I jump back and he doesn't bite my toe. Can you dig it? All right, so that's hack and slash. Now, the beauty here is not that, like, I just saw this rat and it was kind of over. I knew I was just going to smash him because the numeric gap was going to be too big. It's just as exciting to test yourself against stabbing a rat, except for the peril of death, as it is to attack high-powered things. And that's an awesome detail. That means that everything we're going to do in the game is going to have a similar level of gravity. Now, that does put a little bit of a burden on the GM to keep everything awesome. Oh, man, it's getting exciting in here. Yeah, so why did the rat glow with green goo? Well, why are they here at all? They're investigating why several bodies have been found around the village of Westburg recently with green goo oozing out of their eye sockets and their tongues cut out. That has brought our heroes to this oubliette under the earth. So they know they're on to the path of the green goo. So Helm, realizing he might not be the person to approach the door first, he is wearing plate mail after all, gives a subtle signal for Stills to come forward. Stills pulls out his short bow, begins creeping up the wooden walkway here, and another rat, mind-blowing shit, another rat pops out. And now we have our scenario to fire a volley. Now here's where you're starting to notice, these are the same moves from D&D, right? Melee attack, ranged attack. It's just Dungeon World has a way of packaging these actions that in D&D, honestly, you wind up doing all the damn time. What am I? Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Eastburg is just balls. Conan didn't confirm crits. Yeah, you guys are great. Okay, so don't distract me with your amusing chat comments. All right? I'm trying to get through this encounter. This is serious shit. Okay, so Stills moves forward. Another rat jumps out. The rat is leaping at him, and in midair, Stills leans back on one foot and lets two arrows fly Legolas style. So let's roll for him. For the sake of simplicity, remember, everybody's +1 and everybody's rolling D8 damage. The game is more subtle than that, has more detail, but we're just learning. Oh, I got a 4. So not only do I completely miss, the rat flies in, does his damage. Stills has no armor on because he's a real thief, a badass thief. Takes 4 damage. Scenario 1. Scenario 2. I roll mid. Nice. I love it when I make my own point with my dumb rolls. Scenario 2. Stills hits the rat in midair with an arrow, which is incredible. Rolls his damage. Kills the rat. I mean, these things don't have many hit points. And then realizes he's lost his footing. He was concentrating a little too hard. Now I can give him a choice. Does he slip over toward the edge of the walkway, putting himself in danger? Does he reduce his damage? Or does he accidentally fire 4 arrows and realize he only has a few left? Now, since Stills really doesn't need all that damage to kill a rat, he just subtracts 1d6. Ha! Rolled a 1. Awesome. I'm killing it. So I still did 6 damage, plenty to kill the rat. So he kind of just grazes the rat, but honestly, he's using broadheads, so it just slices the thing open. The green goo sprays out, and you're done. So now, how does fire a volley work? What does it give the player? It gives a ranger a bow user. It gives them choice before the shot and after the shot, and that's what's so fun. So let's say that I just roll high, right? Woo! And then I got, nat 11 or something. You not only take the shot, you do all your damage, but you just basically don't even freaking move. The enemy doesn't even barely notice that you fired. Most of your rolls are going to be mid-level successes, right? So, ooh, hey, nice. I did my damage. I did 5 more damage, but man, I needed all 5 of that. I'll move into danger. So during firing your arrow, you step forward twice, 2 steps, and 3 more rats see you, but that didn't happen. There's one other way to do the mechanic before we keep going. Poor Southburg. Oh, you guys are still... The other way to run the option system. So if you guys are looking at the cheat sheet, when you get a mid-level success on a volley, you've got dealing damage and 3 options. Now, giving it to the bow user is cool. It lets them be strategic, but it can slow the game down. To be like, okay, I do my damage, and oh yeah, I'm also trying to choose the outcome here. Whoa, we got a super lag. Ah! Crap. Well, that sucks. Perhaps life will go on unabated despite the completely crippling lag. Wow. That's too bad. Maybe everyone's downloading the god-awful World of Warcraft trailer. Well, hey, Twigs, we died. Anyway, let's just keep going and pretending it's not bad. Another way, is anything crazy happen? Just like lag destruction.
Remember, your computer shuts down from time to time.
No, it's alive. Is it the one serving? Or is that the one serving?
This is serving.
Okay, well, let's just pretend it's not happening. Sometimes letting the bow user choose the outcome can slow the game down. So what you want to do is get a 3-choice dice. A lot of you guys probably have these laying around. It's an axe, a shield, and a little fire thing. Just have your, oh man. Well, Nat 10. Come back, Hankerin. What do I do? What do I do? I have no idea what to do. Is there a refresh button? Well, my IT technician has abandoned me. So, according to this, we are broadcasting. Yeah, I think we're all right. Maybe the lag became incredible. Well,
You should be fixed now.
No, she ain't working. Man, is it hot in here? Woo-wee! I don't know why it's so hot. Isn't it winter yet? Oh. Well, that's toast.